Number 1. The false flashback. You probably have at least one crystal clear memory that never actually happened. Maybe it's a conversation you swear you had, a shirt your friend supposedly wore, or that one time you definitely saw a UFO. Except, no, you didn't. Your brain is obsessed with being right even when it's not. So when it forgets a detail, it just fills in the blanks like a lazy detective sketching a suspect from vibes alone. This is called confabulation, a fancy term for when your memory just makes things up. The wild part? It's not lying on purpose. Your brain genuinely believes its own fan fiction. That's why eyewitness testimonies in court are famously unreliable. Two people can see the same event, and their brains will remix it into two completely different stories, complete with their own lighting, sound effects, and bonus dialogue. And the longer ago something happened, the more your mind treats it like a Wikipedia article, editable by anyone, including your emotions, your imagination, and that one friend who remembers it differently. So yeah, that nostalgic childhood moment you replay for comfort, there's a decent chance it's been rewritten so many times it's practically a deepfake made by your brain. Basically, your memory isn't a camera. It's a chaotic screenwriter who can't stop improvising. Number 2. The missing wallet effect. You know that mini heart attack when you can't find your phone, only to realize it's literally in your hand? That's your brain pulling a cruel little prank called inattentional blindness. Your memory can't store what your attention doesn't notice. So when you're stressed, distracted, or overthinking, your brain basically says, recording paused, good luck later. You think you remember putting your keys on the table, but what you really remember is intending to put your keys on the table. Intent and memory often get tangled like cheap earphones in your pocket. The more you multitask, the more your memory plays hide and seek with reality. That's why you can replay the scene of losing something in your head 20 times, and it still won't help. Your memory didn't lose the object. It never stored it in the first place. The science? The hippocampus, your brain's save button, can only handle so much input before it fries like an overheated laptop. So it dumps most of the background details into oblivion while you run on autopilot. Moral of the story: your brain isn't losing things, it's ghosting them. Number 3. The emotional rewrite. Here's the fun part. Every time you remember something, your brain rewrites it, using how you feel right now. That breakup that once felt tragic? A few years later, you remember it as character development. That argument where you were clearly right? In your memory, you're now even more right. And twice as dramatic. Psychologists call this reconsolidation, when each recall slightly edits the file, like saving a new version of a photo with worse filters every time. Eventually, the memory becomes less what happened, and more how you currently feel about what happened. It's also why trauma feels eternal. When you remember pain vividly, your brain releases the same stress chemicals all over again, like an emotional rerun that refuses to end. So your memory isn't a diary. It's a living, breathing drama queen that updates its storyline whenever you're sad, happy, or overcaffeinated. Basically, you're the unreliable narrator of your own life. Number 4. The Mandela Mirage. You remember the Monopoly man having a monocle, right? Or that movie line, Luke, I am your father. Yeah, none of that ever happened. Welcome to the Mandela effect, where large groups of people share the same wrong memory. It's named after Nelson Mandela because thousands of people swore he died in prison in the 1980s, complete with vivid mental images, fake news reports, and emotional memories. The problem? He didn't. So, what's going on? Your brain is a pattern-making machine. It hates gaps, so it grabs whatever feels right and stamps it as fact. The monocle fits the Monopoly man's rich old guy vibe, so your brain fills it in. Same with Luke, I am your father. The line feels iconic enough that it must have happened that way. Essentially, your brain's autocorrect is permanently drunk. Neuroscientists think it's a mix of source confusion and false association. You hear or imagine something enough times, your brain can't remember whether it actually happened or if you just dreamed it. Over time, that false memory fuses with real ones like a badly photoshopped collage. So next time you confidently correct someone with, actually, I remember it clearly, just know, you might be defending a hallucination with a straight face. Number 5. The memory gap of fear. Imagine being chased by a dog as a kid. You remember the barking, the panic, maybe even the teeth, but the actual details, what color the dog was, where you were, how it ended, are probably fuzzy or totally wrong. That's because when fear kicks in, your brain goes full survival mode and stops recording properly. The amygdala hijacks your system to prioritize not dying over accurate documentation. So instead of saving the video, your brain scribbles, "Something terrifying happened," in giant red letters and calls it a day. Later, when you try to remember, your brain fills in missing pieces with imagination and emotion. That's why scary memories often feel cinematic, but with impossible details, like background music or slow motion that obviously never existed. Trauma memories can even flip between hyper-detailed and completely blank. Some people forget entire events, while others replay them in high-definition nightmares. Neither is more true. It's just your brain deciding which version of reality hurts less. Basically, when you're scared, your brain stops being a camera and turns into a horror movie director who just wants drama and chaos. Number 6. The confidence illusion. Ever had an argument where you were so sure you were right, only to later realize you were dead wrong? That's not arrogance. That's just your memory faking confidence like it's auditioning for a job it can't do. This is known as memory overconfidence, your brain's unearned swagger. It happens because when we recall something vividly, our brains mistake clarity for accuracy. The more real a memory feels, the more we trust it, even if it's 100% wrong. Studies show people often remember seeing non-existent footage of major events, like the 9/11 plane crash, from angles that were never filmed. Their confidence is sky-high because their minds stitch together imagination, emotion, and headlines into a fake highlight reel. It's why eyewitnesses will swear he was wearing a red jacket, even when video proof shows blue. The emotion of the event boosts certainty, not truth. So yeah, the next time you're in a heated debate about what really happened, remember, your brain's acting cocky, not accurate. Basically, it's a confident idiot with Wi-Fi. Number 7. The nostalgia filter. Remember when everything used to feel simpler? Summers were longer, music was better, and people were nicer, right? Wrong. You just got nostalgia bombed by your own brain. The nostalgia effect is your memory's emotional Photoshop. It airbrushes the past until it feels golden and soft, like a vintage Instagram filter over reality. But here's the catch. Those good old days probably weren't that great. Your brain just deleted all the boring, stressful, and awkward parts to protect your sanity. Why? Because emotion is the editor. When you recall a time from your life, the hippocampus reactivates the same emotional circuits you had then, but only the good ones survive long-term storage. Negative memories fade faster because your brain doesn't want to relive misery on loop. So when you look back and think, wow, life used to be so peaceful, that's your brain quietly sweeping all the anxiety, bad haircuts, and math tests under the rug. It's like a bad documentary producer who only includes the highlight reel. Basically, nostalgia is emotional clickbait, and you keep falling for it. Number 8. The misinformation merge. Here's a fun trick. Tell someone a fake fact right after an event, and they might remember your lie instead of the truth. This is called the misinformation effect, and it's how propaganda, advertising, and even casual gossip can rewire your memories. Let's say you watch a minor car accident. Later, someone casually says, "Did you see the red truck run the stop sign?" Boom. Suddenly, there's a red truck in your memory, even if the road was empty. Your brain splices that detail into the footage like a bad movie edit. The scariest part? The more vivid or emotional the false detail, the stronger it sticks. That's why political misinformation and conspiracy theories feel so real. They exploit the way your memory mixes truth and fiction into one emotional smoothie. Psychologist Elizabeth Loftus proved this by implanting fake childhood memories into volunteers' minds, and some participants insisted they remembered being lost in a mall that never existed. Their brains even added extra fake details like the store music and smell of popcorn. So yeah, your brain isn't a hard drive. It's more like a Google Doc with "anyone can edit" turned on.